Some non-recommended methods for weight loss. This is going to be obviously like, here's your sign type of stuff here. The first thing you wouldn't do don't do a fad diet. Okay. What does a fad diet typically consist of? You'll lose 10 pounds in a week. That's usually bull. And if you do lose a lot of weight in the first few days of fad diets, it's usually water weight. And who cares? It relies on a gimmick because you're basically usually getting rid of maybe one food, or you're consuming one food and only one food. There is no holy nutrient. There is no holy nutrient that will make one thing that will make you gain or lose weight. My God, if it was that easy and I knew it, I would not be here. I would have been making billions on it, and I'd be sitting on a beach somewhere, probably in the midst of another hurricane. But still, I'd be on a beach. All right. So these have widespread appeal and have really no science behind them. How do you spot one? Too good to be true. Usually about 1 pound a week, maybe 2, is about the most that you can get. Anything more than that, very simplistic conclusions drawn from a complex study. This one is the hardest one, okay? Because sometimes there are some people out there, there are some bloggers out there involving health and nutrition that are really, really good. There are other ones that will tell you that they're really, really good. They'll take one little piece out of a study and make it into this huge, holy nutrient concept. They're making something simple out of something that's much more complex, and they're banking on the fact that you ain't going to go look up that article. Recommendations based on a single study. Never in science is anything based on one study. That one study can maybe suggest a link, but what it suggests is that we need more work to see if there is a direct connection or an indirect connection or nothing at all. So don't base anything on one study. If one study says if you eat red meat, this would be the tagline: eating red meat causes cancer. Eating red meat in conjunction with no fruit and vegetables causes cancer. Yeah, your likelihood of developing cancer goes way up to the roof. But in that study that came out several years ago, the sheer amount of charred, and by charred I mean cooked on a grill with some burn on it, that you had to consume was way above actual normal consumption of an individual. So getting in and looking at some of the specifics of the study are a good thing for you to do as well. Recommendations made to help sell a product. Recommendations based on studies published without a peer review. Those are always BS. Don't pay attention to those. Studies that ignore differences among individuals or groups. They got to have a control group. It's got to be significant a number of people. And we talked about that way at the beginning. And if it gets rid of one food or one food group, or only talks about eating one food or one food group, then you know it's a fad diet and it's total crap. There are some dietary supplements, some ergonomic aids. Here's a list of some of them here. I'm a supplement guy. I enjoy supplements. I love supplements. But a lot of them, when you put them under a rigor amount of science, they don't necessarily do exactly what they said they are going to do. We'll talk about some of the ergonomic aids. I believe we talk about those in nutrition. Or I'm sorry, this is nutrition class. What the hell? We'll talk about them with diet and exercise. So we'll talk about some supplements there as well. But I mean, you can see, mixed results, may enhance, minimal effect, may, for a lot of supplements, guys, and you can see the side effects. This is what I don't know if I'm not going to ask anything off of this slide. The slide's actually supposed to be a heck of a lot bigger. I just pared it down. But CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, that has been shown to have some help in reducing body weight. So if that's something you're trying to do, that is something you could try. It's not for everybody. CLA causes my stomach to be bloated and gassy, and that's not cool. And I break out with CLA. Jennifer, she can take CLA. She doesn't break out like I do. I break out. Um, but she could take it for maybe a few weeks, and then after a while, she starts getting an upset stomach with it. So CLA is one of those that people generally use a lot because there's a lot of studies that show it to be somewhat effective. So if that's you, there you go. Bitter orange, I've never used it. It's been shown to may increase metabolic rate, but that doesn't necessarily increasing your metabolic rate doesn't necessarily mean you're going to burn more calories all the time. You're going to eat more because you're more hungry because you are burning more. So that's why there's mixed results with the weight loss. Chromium, minimal, if any. I'm not going to really get into it. Ephedra, there's different versions of it, as you can see there. It's been banned in the United States. Then it's been back. It's been linked to heart attacks and strokes. When it was first it's back on the market, but it's a much neutered version of itself from back in the 90s. As long as you drank enough water, man, it was awesome. You lost a ton of weight. But then, people would, consume no water and take it, and then they're dying. Of course, it was somebody else's fault. Green tea actually is pretty good. Green tea has caffeine in it, and green tea extracts has some phytochemicals in it that can enhance some weight loss in individuals. Again, this depends. If you're sensitive to caffeine, then maybe green tea wouldn't be your bag. If you do extracts of it, which are concentrated, smaller amounts, that can cause some liver damage just because it's exorbitant amount. But green tea has been shown to kind of help bolster weight loss by facilitating fat utilization and stimulating metabolism as well. So there's some good stuff with green tea. When it comes to a lot of supplements, though, they're only useful if you are just starting out or just starting back after a really long period of time off. Some of them are banned in sports. Like there's some that you can take, but you can't utilize in shooting because it causes you to be steady. It steadies the hand, steadies the nerves. So, but it helps to promote fat loss. So there's a whole number of supplements out there. We'll talk about a few others of them later in the exercise one when it comes to exercise nutrition. So we'll talk about this again, but if you have questions about a supplement, email me. I'm more than happy to answer some questions about them, but I use them, but how effective are they? Probably minimal in the grand scheme of things.